Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of the Good Chalk Podcast. And the title of this episode will be Volk's retirement party or Volkanovski's retirement party. That's probably what's going to be a little bit more clickbaity. But yeah, Volk's retirement party. So really we're going to just kind of recap some key points of that UFC 298 card, mostly just focusing around Volkanovski, Ilia Topuria, mostly Volkanovski. But yeah, after that performance, it brings a lot of questions like that. At the end of a great fighter's career, people shift. Like, you had Anderson Silva, he loses and he starts to decline and people start to change their perception. Before him, Fedor, he was the GOAT. All of a sudden, as soon as he lost, GSP and Silva jumped over him. Like, not people just started pushing him further and further down. But before he lost, he was undeniably the GOAT. But, people always switch on as soon as you lose. And, switch on Aldo. Now it's Volkanovski's time. It's the Volkanovski retirement party or the decline party. He's 35, pushing 36. Two brutal losses in a row. If he gets that next Topuria fight, he's likely going to get brutally finished again. And his career, his career is in jeopardy to some extent, or hit the remaining fights. But I guess the first thing I want to go to about Volkanovski is, can he bounce back? Like, what could he do next from this fight? Like, was it a case of he just got old and the young guy came up and beat him? Was there some flaws that were already there that Topuria picked up on? And yeah, like based on that, do you feel that Topuria can not Topuria, do you feel that Volkanovski can bounce back and actually win some fights, or do you feel like it's kind of gonna be maybe one more win and then like a bunch of losses and retire, or maybe one more loss and he retire? How long do you feel he got left? Do you feel he got a year, 2 years, 3 fights? How do you feel about it?
Man, it's hard to tell. I think that they should let him do fight the next person for the BMF belt, just because the BMF belt is kind of the belt that no one, like, anybody who's come close to being a UFC champion has, like, Jorge Masvidal and now Justin Gaethje. I think that would be dope for him. I feel bad for him, man, because Topuria is like a whole nother animal. Man, I put money on under, and I put money on first round knockout, which was plus 600. I should have done plus second round knockout, but I just knew that he was super deadly, and if you play with him, like, you're screwed. And Volkanovski was kind of playing with him, like working, doing what he does best, which is getting in and out very quick and without getting too much damage. But God forbid he fights him again, man. I see the same outcome. I don't think it's the same outcome with the Makhachev fight. I think Topuria is just that strong, like, because the head kick and Topuria's punch, and his punch was kind of like not like probably the best punch he could throw. It was like probably 80% of a really hard punch. But it was fantastic to watch, man. I applaud Volkanovski. I think he deserves whatever they give him. He's been willing to fight anybody. He was a pound for pound king last year before Makhachev dethroned him. So I think he deserves whatever he wants. If he wants Topuria again, let him have it. But, like, I would get Topuria a fight in the meantime, just because he's still fresh. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think about Volkanovski? Do you think he's coming
Uh,
back?
I think he wants to come back. I think he could come in great shape and fight Topuria again. But I think he fight Topuria again, he losing maybe a little bit less bad, but either way, he's gonna take a lot of damage. I think he gets stopped regardless. Maybe he goes to third round, maybe he goes to the fourth round, but he easily gets stopped in the first round. But however it goes, we fight Topuria right immediately after losing to him. Now on a 2 fight losing streak, both times getting stopped in brutal fashion. He's definitely gonna stop the third time in brutal fashion. So I feel the best move for him is to take down. I don't know about the BMF thing. The BMF thing don't make sense because he's an actual champion, one of the greatest featherweights of all time. Not the greatest in my opinion. A lot of people recency bias because he had a recent run. But him and Holloway combined don't have as many title defenses as Aldo. Aldo has more title defenses than Volk and Holloway combined, so they aren't greater than him. You can say better, that's an argument, but greater, clearly Aldo's the greatest featherweight of all time. It's not a debate. It's not an argument. But
Oh,
Yeah, Volkanovski one of the greatest featherweights of all time. So him fighting for like a BMF belt at this point would be like it'd be an insult to him. I think we could do. I feel Cejudo talked about retirement. Volkanovski, he didn't mention retirement. He mentions a media rematch, but it's kind of a hard sell. You just had a media rematch against Makhachev basically to save a card, so you might feel like that's like don't count. But still, like you got a rematch, you lost. We don't want to see a rematch. You get started. I would want to see a rematch just purely for selfish reasons. So I could bet a lot of money because I know he's gonna lose. It's super guaranteed he's gonna lose. And there's probably some delusional Volkanovski fans that feel like he could still win. So I might be to get him at minus 500 to Poirier or something, and probably get knockout by like minus 200 or something, minus something. Like no, minus 225. Like that'd be a great steal. But that's the reason why I would like to see the matchup. But is a actually somebody respectable, somebody that cares for Volkanovski, a Volkanovski fan, you should not want him to get that rematch. No matter how much he feel he deserves, his corner should not want that. His teammates, unless they just extremely delusional, because he would get starched again. So like, nah. So what I feel is smart for him right now
Most people are
is
getting starched by Poirier though, so let's be
yeah,
honest.
yeah I'm saying he already on a 2 fight losing streak, getting knocked out. So why would he want to get knocked out again? That is going to be quicken his retirement by doing that. I think somebody made a good suggestion. Maybe him versus Cejudo, because Cejudo talked about retirement. Volkanovski didn't talk about retirement himself, but other people talk about Volkanovski retiring. And Cejudo said he won that match. Volkanovski at one point won that match. I think
Right.
that'd be a good matchup. Or another good matchup would be Aljo said he wanted that matchup when they both were champions. And if Aljo could get past Cater or Qatar, or whatever, I think his name is Calvin Cater. It's not Qatar, it's Cater. If
Hater now.
Aldo can get past Cater, whether it be by an inch or a mile, whether it be like a split decision or a dynamic finish, a dynamic finish will make it better of a matchup, more interesting, more appealing. But regardless, it still be appealing. You got two former champions who were, close to being the greatest in their respective weight class. They match up more better. And also, it's not like Cejudo coming all the way from 25 to 35 to 45. It's Aldo coming from 35 to 45, and he in his own, I guess he himself said he was a pretty big 35 or so. It won't be as big of a jump. So now, actually, I think Aldo's actually taller than Volkanovski. Maybe not wider, but he's taller and he's putting on mass. So I think they physically match up better, and if that'd be a good match. So if Aldo could get past Cater, make Volkanovski versus Aljo, and that works for both guys because you got two guys who have had great legacy and deserve all the respect. Aljo deserves the respect. A lot of people like to disrespect Aljo, but he's one of the greatest bantamweights all time. I would say he's number two bantamweight all time, right behind Cruz. It was close to surpassing Cruz, so one of the greatest bantamweights all time. So you got a number two, greatest bantamweight of all time versus the number two greatest featherweight of all time. That would be a big matchup. So Aljo, if he can get past Cater, fights Volkanovski, and whoever wins gets the title shot, and that would be good right there. And maybe if Taporia gets injured or whatever case, it could be for an interim belt, and then they fight for it, and that makes sense. Volkanovski still will get starts if he wins over Aljo. Aljo probably will get started. Matter of fact, both guys will get started by Taporia, but at least would make a more to fight that both guys could win and would do. It wouldn't be a case of you feeding like a goat to some young hungry contender, and it also wouldn't be a case of Volkanovski coming, using his, I guess, his GOAT status, or he not GOAT. He using his number two status, or recently losing his belt status to try to take someone else to shine, like Evloev, who's deserves a shot. So Evloev in the time being could fight Taporia, and again, like you let Volkanovski get some time off. You let Aldo have his fight, get some time off. So maybe like at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, if Aldo does win, Aldo versus Falk would be a amazing fight. Or maybe since Volkanovski and Cejudo lost on the same card, their recovery time could be matched up well. So that could be. But I think the best matchup would be Aljo if he beats Qatar to fight um, Volkanovski for a title eliminator. That would be an amazing fight. How you feel about that one?
Yeah, I agree. I want to see. I'm just the type of fight fan. I really just want to see um Poirier fight someone who's of his caliber right now, and I just don't like Volkanovski will definitely be in the playbooks for the one of the GOATs in the featherweight division, just for at least the time being. I do agree about the Jose Aldo thing. But I also think there's room in there for Conor McGregor, even though he didn't really defend it all that much. I think that he kind of put a stamp on it by going up to 155 and getting the belt. But I think, yeah, I think Volkanovski, Aljo's a perfect fight. Cejudo's a great fight. I think either one of those guys should definitely fight Volkanovski. I don't want to see that happen to Volk again. So I'm hoping that he gets beat by someone so that he doesn't we don't have to see that for a third time. Because like I know a lot of people were upset because Dana White revealed UFC 300 and then people were like, "Oh, it's too soon." Like, so I don't know. I think he was just in the mode like Volk came and did the presser right after, so I think he was like, "Oh, he's not too hurt," which is good. But yeah, I don't want to see that happen to Volk again. And also, I think if he does fight Topuria again, I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be honest. I'll watch it maybe later.
But it's like already kind of like a foreseeable outcome. I'm definitely watching, definitely putting money on it. I put
Oh,
money
I'll put
on this
money
one,
on
but
it for sure.
I put
Yeah.
in double, probably double the money this time. Like I was confident in that one, but I put double the money this time. I don't know about, I don't know, it definitely be in my stoppage, but yeah, probably still money line it. I don't think I might put some props on finish if the value's there, but definitely money line it for sure because Volkanovski's not winning a rematch in my opinion. But yeah, I think that's a good matchup. And now back to kind of where I was going first with this. So where do you think Volkanovski ranks all time, like pound for pound? And where do you think he ranks in the weight class? And also, you mentioned Conor McGregor, and I know you mentioned 55, but 55 don't have no weight as far as particular weight class. Maybe overall pound for pound history, you might say, oh, he won two. He was a two division champion. He was the first champ in the UFC, not in all of
That's the
MMA.
reason I give it to him. Yeah.
Yeah, but Dan Henderson was the first champ in all of MMA. He was a Pride two division simultaneous champion Pride. But Connor was the first to do it in the UFC. You know, he did it on the brightest lights and the most recently. So,
Right.
but but yeah, where do you feel Volk sits all time pound for pound, and where do you feel that he sits among the featherweight grades? Do you feel like he's, in your opinion, number one, number two, number three? I feel
Uh,
like he kind of sits between one and two, but how you feel?
yeah, I mean, as far as featherweights go, I think he's faced a higher level of competition than Jose Aldo did, and I'm only saying that because like right now, like at Makachev, Khabib, all those people, they've all really like done big things. Like Khabib went 29 and 0 or 30 and 0 or what I think it's 29. But
Now,
then
Khabib competition was mostly trash. He was,
yeah,
I think,
and well,
yeah,
yeah,
they said like
I
at
just
16, yeah, 16 0, he fought a guy who was 0 and 0. Aldo been on fighting the best since he was like 18, and he became a champion at like 20. Matter of fact, I think he became a champion in WC younger than John Jones was champion. So he was a champion for like a decade. So Khabib
oh
really
yeah,
did some big
he
names.
reigned
So,
for a decade for sure. Yeah, I
yeah,
totally agree with that. I mean, it's the thing is like people forget like Tom Brady's already retired and now people are looking at Mahomes like he's the next big thing. You know what I mean? Kind of similar to that, where it's like in the moment type thing where people are like, wow, he might go on a bigger run than this guy. You know what I mean? Uh,
yeah.
so I think it's all relative to time, but I do agree. I think Jose Aldo holding the belt for 10 years is just crazy. Like any like besides John Jones, really
I
don't
think it was
know.
like 7 years. It was close to 10. I know John Jones been undefeated, virtually undefeated for like over a decade. I think Aldo, what, I think like 23 to like 30 or 23 to, so it was like about 7.5 years, so close to a decade.
Yeah. So I agree. I think Jose Aldo definitely deserves his flowers, and I don't think he should be overlooked. But I think Volk has done a pretty good job of just if he went through to Poirier, I think he would be the greatest of all time. Because like I even was questioning whether or not like is he gonna get knocked out again? I think so. You know what I mean? Like I just I have a feeling, and you've kind of hinted at it as well. Like you say when you would talk about Volkanovski, you'd be like, for now, you know what I mean? So you were already, I could kind of tell we're already like leaning towards Poirier. So, uh, uh, yeah, I think, Volk should just get whatever he wants. If he wants the title fight, go for it. But I also do want to see Poirier fight someone that I think is as good as him. And I think you're right on Mozar Evoyev. I think he deserves it. I think he's earned it.
So that's the next one. So you already kind of got there. So you think the next matchup for Taporia is Evloev? You think that's the one that makes the most sense? And do you really think that if Evloev is on Taporia's level, like do you feel like he has shown anything that would say he's actually on the level or could pose such a different challenge? And outside of him, and which weight class do you feel like? How do you feel about a potential Sean O'Malley fight when they get further on their careers? If they both end up being dominant champions, do you feel like they both could be dominant champions? And how do you feel that matchup would be between those two? And then outside of that, how do you feel about Taporia going up? So how do you feel about Taporia basically O'Malley, south of him, and I guess Makhachev north of him? How do you feel about those two matchups?
Man, I think those are the more exciting matchups than Mozart Voyev. I think I would rather see Sean O'Malley, who kind of shut me up with the Aljamain Sterling win. Like I didn't have anything bad to say about him. I just thought Aljo was gonna backpack him like a lot of people did, and that didn't happen. So you gotta commend him. Now I think he's earned the right to maybe go up and fight someone at 145 if he can beat Cheeto, and then I think either Umar Nurmagomedov or or what's his name, or Marab. I think Marab's the most deserving of it. So I think Sean has a little bit of work to do before that happens. But I think Islam has kind of cleared out his division as well. You know what I mean? He's lapping people right now, as far as his fights go. Um, so he's on it. I think whoever wins uh between Charles Oliveira and Charles Oliveira and Armin Sharukian. I think that's going to be the fight. I was listening to a live stream of a guy that does UFC related things, and I when he was doing the Q&A, I asked him, I was like, who do you think uh is going to win? And then I said, do you think the person that's going to win that is the next for the title? And he's like, yeah. So I kind of thought the same thing. That's why I asked him, somebody who might be close to the situation. But yeah, I think the most exciting fight would be Topuria versus Makhachev, to be honest with you. What do you think?
I think that's too soon. And Taporia look kind of undersized. He don't have the same size like McGregor. McGregor could go up like he's bigger. I think Taporia has the skills and he has the power, and he might be a little bit on the smaller side. I feel like he has the strength and whatnot to go up. But I definitely think he'll go on deal with a lot of issues with size and length at the weight class. But I didn't think he's a fighter to do. But at first, again, I feel like he got to defend the belt. It's like with O'Malley, with Taporia, even with Makhachev, like y'all got to defend your belts. The lightweight belt hasn't been that record's been there too long, and it's time for somebody to break it. So I think Makhachev needs to, before he fights down or up, he needs to get to 4 defenses. So he's at 2 right now. He needs 2 more defenses, and he'll be at 4. And as far as clearing up division, he hasn't cleared up division yet. He's fought two of his 2 defense. Well, yeah, his 2 defenses were Volkanovski, a guy who's not even in the weight class. He was the number 1 pound fighter, but he was not in your weight class. So that's not going to clear out your division. That's just a semi super fight. So he still maybe could fight an Armin Ukraine again, fight Charles Oliver again, maybe Ganrod and who else, but or Gaethje or whatnot. The division is kind of a
What
little
do
bit
you think
boring at
the
like
time frame should be? Do you think if they all get, say, 2 or 3 more fights in the next 2 years, that's when they should start pushing for people to go up and down?
yeah. I feel like they need like 2 years. I think they all need 2 years because Makhachev in that time 2 years. Well, also with the rate, it's not like they fighting super crazy fast. Not like they go, like, I'm in my prime. I'm gonna fight 3 defenses this year, like, or sometimes they end up just being 1 fight the whole year. So it all depends on the rate. I feel like Makhachev, he's in a better position because he's ahead. Like, again, he has 2 defenses and he is the number 1 pound, so he does got a little bit more leeway. But I feel Makhachev probably a year, the rest of them 2 years. O'Malley just won the belt, no defenses. He needs like 2 years, I feel.
Oh, at least.
Deporia literally just won the belt like 2 days ago, so he needs like 2 years. Get like 4 defenses. Put like be close to Bulk status already, and that'd be impressive. He could do that rate. It's impressive. Volkanovski was what he had like 5 defenses, a good amount of defenses, but nothing super super crazy to be honest. Especially in this area, you got these champions with 8 defenses, 9 defenses, 10 defenses, stuff. But if he get like 3 or 4, he's already close to Bulk. Especially knock Bulk out again. Then like just how people worry overriding Aldo for whatever reason, even though these guys don't have half his defenses. you could he get 3, 4 defenses, then you start overriding Bulk. Now he like they say, oh, this is the new GOAT. And then that give him leeway to say, I already cleared out my division. And also not who's really there at 45 once he beats Volk again, beats Evloev. There's nobody really there. But I was saying in the 2 years he could kind of fight 4 people, maybe beat the same guy twice, and have 3 or 4 defenses. Then that makes sense. So yeah, Makhachev about like a year and a half. No, just a year. Volk, I mean, Makhachev just a year. Taporia 2 years. O'Malley 2 years. Then they could be start talking about super fights. But yeah, that's as far as all about those guys. I think how long do you think in your mind? How long do you think Taporia will reign? Do you think not time, but how many defenses do you think he can have? How far if you would project right now? Do you think he's gonna go on to surpass Volk's defenses or lose his next fight or take those fights, win those fights? Well, let's not even say that. Let's just focus on his particular division. Do you think he's gonna defend at least 3 times at featherweight? How you feel that he could do that, or you feel he will or won't?
Yeah, I think there's no one in that division that can beat him. Like I look at the top 10, Bryce Mitchell down to Alex and Max Holloway at number 2, Yair Rodriguez. I just think will have no problems. Like I like unless Volk can make a comeback, which I believe he could do. I just I don't know if he could be the person to beat him. I think if Topuria fights Sean O'Malley is getting slept. But I think uh Topuria, I think he can pretty much. I think Mozar Avoyev is the only person that I could see maybe giving him a little bit of trouble, but outside of that, I think he just steamrolls everybody. Like I I don't see it going any other way. I don't like unless a new fighter comes into the fold, some Russian guy from Dagestan that we don't know about, you know what I mean, and comes in and does it, then yeah, I could see it happening. But unless he fights like Islam Makhachev, who I think that would be a really good fight. I would really like to see that. But yeah, I don't think there's anybody who could beat him. What do you think?
I think like I agree to some extent. I think there's Dagestan. Dagestan will be doing all that, put on all that work to be honest. So I doubt it'd be some Dagestani. But I think Sean O'Malley got low key a good chance to beat him. But I definitely think he get 3 defense, especially if he don't try to bite off more than he can chew and try to take super fights right now. But if a Volkanovski like on paper an easy title defense, Evloev a relatively great chance of beating Evloev, and then Max Holloway, I feel is a strong test for him, but I don't know where Max Holloway is going to be, if he's going to stay at 55 or if he can come back to 45. But I would favor him to beat him. I feel like right now Max Holloway stylistically is the hardest fight for him. That's like present for him. That's the hardest fight for him, in my opinion, at 45 right now. And yeah, that's what I feel about. But I definitely think he'll get 3 defenses. I think he'll get at least 3 defenses in my opinion. And put himself up there with his fellow featherweight goats. I think he'll be right among them. Might even pass Holloway, but definitely put himself among them at the very least. And he already is among them, but put him like actually put himself among them with like accolades and defenses. But now the next thing, we're gonna jump right into the next thing. So we just heard an announcement, or it was just announced that Jamal Hill is fighting Alex Pereira for the undisputed light heavyweight title, for the main event of UFC 300. How do you feel about that one? He's kind of coming back a little bit soon. I feel like he could have took more time off, and he's going there with like a leg injury, and he's coming off a leg injury to fight one of the greatest leg kickers in the game, and one of the greatest kickboxing games. So it's a tough matchup, and it's like to come off injuries to do that. If I had an injury, I would probably, like, in my honest opinion, I was going to pick Jamal Hill, and I'm probably still going to pick Jamal Hill to win. But if without the injury, I was picking Jamal Hill to beat Prohaska, beating Pereira. But with the injury, it makes it harder for me to pick him. But how do you feel about that matchup, especially with the injury, and how do you feel about that being the main event of UFC 300?
Yeah, I unlike every other person on the internet who like is mad, who's got something to say, who's upset, I think Jamal Hill deserves it. You know what I mean? Just like Yuri Prohaska deserved it, right? Like he was the champ, got hurt, vacated, same thing happens with Jamal, and it's like, oh no, he's that's not a UFC 300 worthy event. But like, bro, I kind of look at Jamal like I look at Tom Aspinall, like he's gonna be doubted in some ways because Aspinall was plus money when I got him at the fight. Like when I was there, I got him at plus 100. I always do well at that number. Below Muhammad against Gilbert Burns was plus 100. I won 5 grand that night. So it was pretty nice. But yeah, I think Jamal Hill deserves it. He's earned it. He vacated. It's his time. I think he beats Alex Pereira. How probably by TKO, but like I could see Pereira being very dangerous too. So I think betting inside the distance is the best for that as far as like what's the most live. But I think Jamal deserved it. I think Jamal will win. I really hope Jamal wins because yeah, I met him in person. Really nice dude. Gave me the time of day. You know what I mean? Just to say hi. So I think I have no reason to say otherwise, and I don't get why people are so upset. Like Jamal is a really good fighter. Like people sleep on him all you want, but like he's really talented, and I think he definitely deserves it. What do you think?
I think he deserves it, and I think it's a good main event because people like wanting Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor hasn't won a fight in like 5 years. So I know you got people still big fans of him and whatnot, and that's cool and all. You probably want to see him come back, but to be honest, I'm not super excited for him versus Chandler. I think he wins the fight, but am I super excited for it? No, I'll tune in, but I don't feel like it's that great a main event outside of the name value of Conor McGregor.
Right.
Pereira's on a tear right now. Just recently became a two divisional champion, so that's big. Pereira's very popular right now. So I felt Pereira being on the main event. I just feel like people don't like Jamal as much. If Pereira was winning there against Ankalaev, they probably would like that matchup more. But Jamal Hill is the one who vacated the belt because he was injured, just like Jerry did. So it makes sense. And I think it'd be a exciting matchup. Jamal Hill can't really wrestle, so it's going to be a striking matchup. Pereira been working on some wrestling, but I don't think it's going to be so effective that he's going to be able to wrestle Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill's wrestling defense has been improving a lot. So all in all, this fight going to end up being a striking matchup mostly. And whether one guy goes down, the other guy go down, whether it be Jamal Hill's legs give out or he gets caught with a hook, or Pereira gets caught with an overhand or something, or he gets caught with a hook or something, you in for a good fight. And definitely from talk, well, maybe from Jamal Hill. So I think it's gonna be a good, fun main event, and it's
Yeah,
gonna
bro.
be a
To
fight.
be to be honest, it's 1,000 times better than Connor versus Chandler. You know?
Yeah,
If you're a true UFC fan, if you follow the sport kind of religiously like I do, then yeah, you're gonna love it. If you're just a fair weather fan who, likes these big names and not just the people with the talent, then yeah, you're gonna be, oh, I want to watch Conor McGregor. But I agree.
everyone's all of them they mentioned, like they wanted probably Nate Diaz and Brock Lesnar and this and that and such and such. But I think at the end of the day, people gonna complain about whoever they put in there. To be honest, they would say, Conor McGregor." I don't know what they were kind of expecting. Who are you expecting to have? You wanted GSP come out of retirement, then GSP come out. Who is that guy? Like people don't know what this came around McGregor. They gonna act like they care about it, but they don't care if GSP came back before Khabib. But they might care for Khabib. But like, who's this GSP guy? Oh, GSP old. Khabib still young enough. He gonna beat him. I don't really care for the matchup. They're gonna complain, but our old fans come back like, I don't want GSP to come out of retirement to lose to Khabib, so Khabib can boost his weak legacy up. But yeah. But anyway, it's a good matchup. I think it matched up well. Whoever wins, I like both guys. But I think it's gonna be a good fun matchup, and it's gonna end. It's gonna be a fight that ultimately I feel like fans gonna. This is the fight you guys want to see. Guys, that's a fight that's gonna be a stand and bang fight. Some pretty good clean technique, some good kicks, some heavy power coming, some heat been thrown both ways, and to see who's gonna come out on top. I think both guys got their path to victory, and I think it's a really well matched up fight. My only concern is if Jamal Hill gonna be in good health. If Jamal Hill in good health or good enough health, this is a great fight on paper. But if he's not in good health, it's either be a case of a cautionary tale. He's coming back too soon. He caught one leg kick and also leg get a knee give out, and the fight's over in 15 seconds. And like, no, it's a terrible look because you came back too soon. But that's my big concern, the injury. But as far as the still skill versus skill, style versus style, amazing matchup. But now to the final section of this episode of the Good Chalk. Let's get into Good Chalk. Like, for UFC Fight Night, Moreno versus Royval 2. Is this good chalk or is this bad chalk, basically? So let's start with the main event. We got Moreno at minus 290. Did you feel that is good chalk or bad chalk?
I think that's uh I don't know, it's hard. It's hard because Brandon Royval didn't look very impressive against Alexandre Pantoja, and um Brandon Moreno didn't either. So it it it's hard to say, man. I think Brandon Royval can be very dangerous, but I think Moreno, I also think is can be dangerous. I think they're dangerous in their own respective fields, like where they do their best work. But I think it's good chalk. I like. I think that it's going to be a very competitive fight. I think it's going to be really a good card for Mexico. There's a lot of Mexicans on the card, and that's really awesome. But I think it's good chalk. I would like to see Brandon Moreno at a little bit of a lesser value, maybe like minus 125, and then I might pull the trigger, but at minus 250, it's not really for me. But I think the fight overall is good chalk.
So in my opinion, I think it's good chalk. I feel like Royval had a very disappointing. Moreno had a close split decision. If they would give that fight to Moreno, I would not have played. I'm glad Pantoja won, but Moreno actually had a very good fight with Pantoja. He did real damage. I feel like Royval saw him tired in front of him and still was giving him takedowns. And his fought with very low effort, or it seemed like he had no takedown offense at all. He just felt like a very lackluster performance. Yeah, one chance to be a champion, and that's the performance you put up. I feel like that's like a regrettable performance. And then he's bouncing back so soon against a guy he already lost to, who has way more cardio, more well-rounded than Pantoja, and could put him in similar positions. And also in a position he could work him the whole time. I feel like Moreno's a good value at that point. And the value I got him, I think I got him at like 250 minus 250. So anywhere like low 250, like 200s, I feel like or low to mid, I liked it. Even at minus 290, I like, but close to 250, I feel like that's really great. And where I got it at, I feel that's a very good value, all things considered. High altitude, terrible performance in a um, main event, still consistently terrible takedown defense, consistently love, throwing sloppy strikes and hoping for a flashy knockout or rocking his opponent. Yeah, Royval is very inconsistent, very sloppy fight a lot of times. And he going there for a guy who can really put it
That's what
on
I'm
him.
kind of banking on. I'm kind of
Yeah,
banking on he might show up.
yeah, and match him pace for pace, if not surpass his pace. So,
Yeah.
and then yeah, Reno, I like that value. Another one, Yair Rodriguez at minus 162. Another rematch versus Brian Ortega. How you feel about that? Good chalk or bad chalk?
Great chalk. I like Yair Rodriguez. I thought he should have fought Ilia Topuria. I think that would have been before in the meantime between Volk fighting Islam and have I think that Yair could have had a main event together. I would have loved to see it, but I think he beats Brian Ortega. I think he got destroyed by Volk, and I think that happens, but I think he'll bounce back, and I think this will be a great fight. So I got a great chalk for Yair Rodriguez versus Brian Ortega. What do you think?
All right. I say good chalk as well. Minus 162 versus a guy he already beat before. And Brian Ortega been out here, taking vacations off. He's been crying over past relationships, crying over spilled milk and whatnot, crying over injuries. Like, he's just been inactive. He's been a prima donna, been inactive. Already lost to Yair Rodriguez. It's not like Ortega has great offensive wrestling. It's not like his striking so good. I feel like Rodriguez got a strong chin on him. He got pretty good cardio. He's been the one training in high altitude. He lives in Mexico or whatnot. He's been, like I said, he's been doing all the right stuff. I feel like Ortega been active. He didn't come into Mexico City soon enough. And yeah, the inactivity, not taking the proper procedures, and already stylistically wise, I feel like Yair Rodriguez matched up well. I think 3 rounds would have favored Yair Rodriguez even more. 5 rounds adds a little bit more intensity to it because now you got to go in the later rounds. But yeah, I still like Yair Rodriguez. I think minus 162, especially given the fact that he already has a win over him. And I think all the factors lean to Yair. So at minus 162, I think that's a steal. I think up to like minus 220, this is a steal. And the fact that still sitting like near mid hundreds, I think that's still a great value. And I think it's going to go up over time and probably be like minus 250 by the time the fight actually happens, or maybe minus 300. So right now, it's a great value. And then the final one, I'm gonna say off top, this is a terrible value. Why is Yasmin Yaragui minus 535? I've been asking myself that. I even tweeted that. Why is Yasmin Yaragui minus 535? Everyone in their grandma like, oh, this is the lock. What is she locked about? She's 1-1 in the UFC, coming off a knockout loss over Sam Hughes, who has consistently pulled off upsets over fighters around her caliber. Sam, yeah, maybe she should win stylistically, but she should not be no minus 535. This should not be the fighter you're, putting the anchor on. Like, this is going to keep me safe. I could bet 10,000 on her so that at least I could come out on top, regardless, because she's a guaranteed win. She's not the guaranteed win on the card at all. But how you feel? Good chalk, bad chalk?
I think much like the Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Tercios, I think Raul Rosas Jr. I even though his win over Christian Rodriguez did age well, I think I think it's too much too soon. I don't think that either fighter is worth that. I think you there's some money to be made maybe in the props, but like regarding the Yasmin Uruguay fight, I just think I don't what has she really done? You know what I mean, to deserve that? Like the minus 1,400, whatever the guy was last week, was insane. Like I wouldn't want to do that. Like I would rather get value on someone that might be an underdog rather than someone who isn't like a steamroller. And I just don't think Yasmin Uruguay is been that dominant. So I I I can see maybe because Sam Hughes kind of isn't very good, but outside of that, like you shouldn't give someone that much ever if unless they're like Shavkat Rakhmonov. I could see him fighting uh Wonder Boy and him being plus 500. Like I could just understand why that is. This one definitely not. So for the Yasmin versus Sam Hughes fight, very bad shot.
Yeah, so we both grew on that bad chalk. But let's hear in the comment section from you guys. Like, the video's wrapping up. Why do like I know some of y'all gonna be high on Yargri for a reason, but tell me what is there to be high about on her at minus 535? So tell Nikki Betts, DM me, what do you see that I don't see? And that's the video. So load those comments up, wrap it up. That's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.